Welcome to Bitcoin Amsterdam 2024. And these Amsterdam interviews are powered by Bitfavo. And we are here sitting with Knut.
Yes.
Yes. I'm trying to pronounce it good. You're credited with coining the phrase everything divided by 21 million. How do you think this meme has helped communicate Bitcoin's scarcity and its economic principles to both new and seasoned Bitcoiners?
Well, I'm very happy about that, obviously. So the phrase originates from an article I wrote for Citadel 21 magazine, if you remember that. It was Hodlonaut's Bitcoin fanzine. They're still available, by the way, if you want to buy an issue of that. There are like, I think, 1,000 copies of each issue printed.
Okay.
So there's
when was it released?
On August 21st, 2020.
Okay,
and this is something I figured out in hindsight, because August 21st, like the year after, we came up with this idea of Bitcoin Infinity Day, because 8/21, if you write it like the American way,
The
so you write
21st day of the 8th month.
Yeah. And so Citadel 21 was always released on the 21st, but the fact that it was August was a complete fluke, like a coincidence.
It was not intentional.
No, but you know there are no coincidences.
No, not in life.
So that was like a mindfuck in itself, like just stars aligning. So, and in that article, there was a sentence that said, "Imagine everything that is and everything that ever will be divided by 21 million."
Yeah.
And then that article got read by Guy Swan on the Bitcoin Audible podcast thing, and then turned into a beautiful animation by Joni Appelberg. We collaborated a couple of times, and in that animation, there's the beautiful equation in its correct font, a font called Londrina Solid, and with its correct colors like white, blue, white.
Cool.
And that thing just within weeks after, that thing just took off, and especially after the Infinity Day idea.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it was all over internet, and Michael Saylor tweeted about it, and Adam Back tweeted about it, and whatnot. And life got weird. I mean, people started tattooing the equation into their bodies and all sorts of weird shit. So, but I thought, well,
awesome.
Whatever. What the hell? I'm gonna lean into this because why not? It's like the perfect.
And did you also have the idea to maybe produce some merchandise around it? I mean,
I think no.
Hats,
I did that a bit later down the line because other people did. So other people were using the meme to produce stuff. So I thought, well, other people are making money off of it. Why shouldn't I?
Nice. Hey, you're a Bitcoin thinker, but also a Nostr thinker. You've spoke about hyperbitcoinization and its relationship to Nostr, coining the term hypernostrification. How do you see the adoption curve for Nostr playing out, and why do you believe it might surpass Bitcoin's speeds of adoption?
I love this question. It means you have been paying attention.
Sure, we do. We always.
I love the term hypernostrification.
Yeah, me too.
And I do think there's a chance that hypernostrification happens before hyperbitcoinization.
Yeah, and
I reckon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to spread a pure communications network than to spread a monetary network, I guess. Well, in its essence, a monetary network is a communications network, since money is nothing but communication, as Bitcoin has pointed out to us. But still, I think with money, there are so many hurdles because people have these preconceptions of what it is and what it should be, and we have all these institutions telling us lies about that it is ought to have inflation and all of this stuff. So it might be harder to push that message through to people. But Nostr is just like, oh well, these people can't censor you anymore. Like you can just get a cryptographic key pair and have forever free speech capabilities, and that's just beautiful.
And it's free to use, obviously. I mean, if you want to use the Bitcoin protocol, you have to get some money out of your pocket, and Nostr is free to use. I mean, that's also something that counts.
Yeah, absolutely. The barrier to entry is lower.
Yeah,
I mean, you can always, and I always suggest this to people, like people say buy Bitcoin or spend Bitcoin and stuff. I say accept Bitcoin for goods and services. That's the most important thing, that you accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
You've been to the Amsterdam event on Tuesday, and there were some panel discussions also about Nostr in 2034, for example. What do you think are the key problems it aims to solve today's centralized social networks, and how do you think it will empower users in a way that the normal platforms now cannot do?
Well, I think the whole web of trust idea is much bigger than we think. Because, like, if, for instance, you take movie reviews, this is just a small thing, but that could be solved by Nostr. So you have, on Rotten Tomatoes, you have the latest MCU movie, like the politically correct Marvel movie, where there's a female Hulk or something, you know, or a female Iron Man, and it's doing all the... there's a... So that thing gets a very good critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, but not a very good audience score, right? So there's a discrepancy with what the politically correct elite thinks and what people think. But with Nostr, you can have, like, if you, instead of listen to the official critics or the random guy on the internet, you can now listen to people you trust about what they think about things. So like film reviews, restaurant reviews, anything rating anything really can be based on what your friends and the people you respect think about things, and that changes the whole map. Like it's a seismic shift in how we use the internet, and it's infinitely better. It's super small scale at this point, but I think the potential for that, just what your network thinks about things. So like if the
critics,
if the Bitcoiners, like the steakhouses are going to get 5 stars and the vegan restaurants are going to get 1, as should be. And if your friends are vegans on Nostr, then the vegan restaurants will get 5 stars. And so it's suited for you, like. And it's tailored for you in a sense, and all of these things are just about to be built, and I find that insanely fascinating. Like, I'm very excited about it, and the people who work on it are some of the brightest minds. My friend Martti Malmi, for instance, has devoted his time to developing Nostr stuff now. It's like, it's super cool that we have these people in working on this thing. So I'm very bullish on Nostr.
And are you also planning to write a book on Nostr, or?
There is some stuff about Nostr in the Universal Clown World book. So we sort of hint at it there.
But completely solely about Nostr? Is that something you have in mind?
I don't see that coming anytime soon, and I don't see myself writing that kind of book anytime soon for several reasons. Like, first of all, I have other projects. Right now, I'm not in writing mode because I just wrote a book, so I'm more in, like, shilling the book. And doing the conference circuit thing.
Of course.
But there very well could be a book about Nostr. I think maybe it shouldn't be written right now, but a bit further down the line when it's more developed and there are more things to show for it. Because we don't know how, like, Nostr still has issues that need to be resolved. Like it doesn't really scale, and there's like well, I shouldn't say it doesn't scale, but at the moment there are scaling issues, and there's also issues with, like, the monetization of it all and how that will play out. How the relays will monetize themselves, and so that you don't get what you got with email, for instance, that everyone is using a centralized server. Like, no one is running their own POP3 server or SMTP server, whatever. I don't know what the correct technical terms are, but people aren't running that from their homes. So we'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. But I am enthusiastic about it, for sure. We're doing... just to add another point to it. We're doing Nostr first now. So me and Luke, we had a conversation about how to tackle Nostr and how to like show that we want to support this as much as we can. And the thing we came up with is that we release everything we do one day earlier on
Cool. Yeah.
Nostr than
That's
every
really
other
cool.
platform.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar
So-
as you just said. Like you have to accept Bitcoin. You're now Nostr first, so
Yeah, exactly.
That's driving the adoption.
Yes,
I mean,
and
yeah.
we have another idea coming up, and this is like, I don't think I've told anyone this officially.
Scoop, ladies and gentlemen, scoop, scoop, scoop.
But we are planning we are re-releasing all my old books and re-editing them slightly for readability and so.
Oh, cool.
And the plan is to release each and every book on Nostr, like chapter by chapter, once
That's
a
great.
week, and maybe do a bit of video content or something. We haven't really decided the entire game plan. So there's a chapter and some video content every week.
Nice.
To as a companion to the pod. And this is a good thing.
Nice.
Well,
So we'll definitely keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
Back to Bitcoin.
Yes.
Yeah, we just mixed things up here.
Yeah.
In a past interview, you mentioned Bitcoin as, and this is one of my favorite lines, a weapon of mass construction, comparing it to the atomic bomb, obviously. Could you expound on how you see Bitcoin reshaping the world positively, and in what ways it will be a tool for mass construction?
This reminds me of a talk I did in Riga last year called Oppenheimer versus Nakamoto.
Yeah.
Because
great movie, by the way, Oppenheimer.
Yeah, great. A bit overly convoluted, but that's to be expected from Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
But beautiful cinematography and everything. And the story is so interesting because what both Oppenheimer and Nakamoto did was harness the power of physics to change human incentive structures.
Yeah.
And Oppenheimer changed it by he thought he could end all wars by making a weapon so terrible that no one would ever use it. Which in hindsight can be a bit naive because it seems to be working for now, but like at some point it might not, and then we're all fucked, right?
Yeah.
And Satoshi did sort of the opposite. He created the ultimate armor or the ultimate shield against such a weapon by making the profitability of aggression diminish to such an extent that it makes aggression pointless.
Yeah, obsolete.
So on a small scale, I can point a gun at your head and say, "Give me all your bitcoins," and you can give me a part of them or give me something. But there is no way for me to know that I got
It's
all
everything.
of it.
Yeah.
So the better way for me to interact with you profitably is to just trade with you and do something. So the expression "if goods and services don't cross borders, soldiers will" is literally true on Bitcoin. Like so, and now we can transcend borders, and borders become sort of funny when you walk through the security control at the airport, for instance. And I have this thought in my head that I can't get rid of, and that is, okay, you can have my fucking toothpaste. I have my 12 words. Like there's nothing you can do about that. Yeah.
No, and it's not, and you don't know that I have it. There's
no way. And this is the thing that, like, the thing that is so truly, civilization changing about this thing is that no one can ever know. And no one knows how many bitcoins another person has, how many satoshis another person has. It's impossible to know that, at least to 100% extent. You can make an educated guess by using chain anal software and all this stuff, but at the end of the day, you cannot know, and you cannot.
Even if I tell you, you cannot know.
No,
You don't
exactly.
know if I tell the truth.
No, exactly. And also you cannot prove a negative. So like you cannot prove that I don't own all the bitcoins.
No,
like each and every one of us could own all the bitcoins.
Each and every one of us could be Satoshi Nakamoto, for instance.
Yes. This is. It makes the whole notion of ownership and possession and all that. It completely redraws the map.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And I think we've only barely scratched the surface of how deep a societal change that is.
Yeah.
True. You've also touched on the idea that empty homes are a result of a broken fiat monetary system.
Yeah.
How do you envision real estate markets evolving under, for example, Bitcoin standard, and what kind of societal changes might follow then.
The point there is that real estate has become an investment. It has
Yeah.
become a money substitute.
Yeah.
So I don't really like the term store of value. I prefer medium of exchange.
Yeah.
But medium of exchange through time and through space. And you can't really have medium of exchange through space without first having medium of exchange through time function property. So what happens in a fiat monetary system, which is like fiat money was born as receipts for gold. Like so someone had gold in a vault, they had a receipt.
Yeah.
Here in Amsterdam, by the way.
Yeah. Here in Amsterdam. Yeah.
And if they got the gold back, the receipt worked and it was legit.
Yeah.
But no such receipt in the world is legit, and none of it works because they lose value over time, which they shouldn't. It is all theft. Like all of that is due to theft, due to someone stealing the value of the actual commodity. The money itself is just an abstraction of the thing that is actually valuable. And what happens in the fiat monetary system is that everything else but money becomes the money substitute. And real estate is a big thing. Like, so people buy homes, they take out huge mortgages and buy real estate that they don't live in. And then that keeps its value while the loan goes down in value, and then they make money. So it's so destructive. But if you've rewired your brain to be on a Bitcoin standard and you denominate in sats instead, you can see that for the most part it doesn't make sense to buy real estate at all.
No.
It's better to keep your Bitcoin stack and rent something somewhere.
Yeah.
That will probably result in more sats 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
Or not only that's not only likely, but like it's super likely. Like of course, it's the better asset. You can't
Talking
compare
about
it.
hyperbitcoinization, that's also something you elaborate a lot about. You said it's a personal journey for each and everyone.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone that's just starting to live more fully in the Bitcoin world, and what steps can they take to increase their understanding and about the adoption?
Back to start accepting Bitcoin for your goods and services. First on a small scale, but then bigger and bigger. And when you do, like, the person who gave you the Bitcoin knows that you have it, but no one else does. Like, at the end of the day, this is like, so I'm not encouraging anyone to be a criminal, but you can have separate stacks. You can you can have non-KYC Bitcoin and KYC Bitcoins. And these two stacks can have different purposes. Let's just say that. But the problems with Bitcoin are actually all problems with the fiat rails. So it's only when the Bitcoins touch when they're tied back to the banking system somehow that the problems arise. Within Bitcoin and within the Bitcoin community, there are no problems. There's no friction. There's nothing. There's no coercion. There's no aggression. It's just voluntary interaction between people, and we're all incentivized to help one another succeed, and we're all it's just beautiful, everything, and outside it's still not as beautiful.
No.
So if we all mine Bitcoin, then it never touches the bank, and then we can
No, but we
exchange
don't need to all mine it. I mean, we could just accept it for our goods and services.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Well, Knut, thank you for your time.
Thank you guys. I enjoyed this immensely, and thank you for being so well read up on,
Of course.
on my stuff.
Sure. We always try to do our utmost.
Yeah, for a future episode or something, we have a lot more questions.
I'd love to talk some more. It's brilliant.
Let's make an appointment for that. And I have just one question left for you personally, because we were always wondering, you are now here at Bitcoin 2024 in Amsterdam, our hometown, our country. My hometown. Edward is living in Eindhoven.
I used to live here nearby, but
that's correct. So somehow also your hometown.
my roots.
What are you hoping to get out of this conference yourself?
Oh, I already got all I needed out of it. Like for me, conferences is mostly about networking and tightening the bonds with my friends around the world.
And shilling the book.
And shilling the book is a thing too.
Talking about shilling the book, maybe you can. Where can people buy the book now?
Yeah. So you can go to bitcoininfinity.com where you find everything me related, and also Bitcoin Infinity Store and BitcoinInfinityShow.com works too. So there's one for the pod and one for the store. But BitcoinInfinity.com will direct you to both.
Cool.
The books are also available on Amazon if you prefer that. And I'm very excited for the Inverse of Clown World, the latest book. It's my most toxic one yet. I think it's the funniest and the deepest also. I'm very proud of it, and I hope people read it, and I'm looking
Is it
forward
also
to see what
translated
people
to
think
Dutch,
about
by
it.
the way? Because we have like a distributor here in Holland that translates Bitcoin books into Dutch.
The
Are you
Consensus
aware
Network.
Yeah, the Consensus Network. Are you aware of the guys translating the book, or?
Yes, but I'm not with Consensus anymore, so
Okay.
I'm self-publishing these.
Okay, cool.
So, but we are in touch with all the translation teams, so there will be translations to all the languages, including Dutch.
Great.
Perfect.
Great.
Well, again, thanks for the time, and
Thanks again.
we keep in touch.
Thank you
Next
guys.
time. All right.